Oh. Oh. Hi, how you doing? My name is Chris Lapaco. You can follow me on Twitter at the Chris Lapaco. Yes, the Chris Lapaco. I'm here to tell you today. Number one, this isn't some white supremacist shit. We're number one in all sorts of statistical categories. Did I say follow me on Twitter yet? Follow me on Twitter at the Chris Lapaco. Yes, the Chris Lapaco. Also go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/Chris Lapaco Experiment. Somebody left a comment somewhere or something. I can't remember. I've heard it a couple different times. More than a couple. A bunch. White people get shot by cops more often than anybody else. It's meant to, hold on a sec here. There. Music was still playing. Okay. So I saw Phil Advise go on Louder with Crowder. Okay. Two YouTubers, I guess. I don't know what Louder with Crowder is, but I've seen him. I've seen his videos. I just don't watch it. So he's kind of annoying. Phil Advise, he could be better at debating, but that's fine. He couldn't really debate, though, because Crowder kept yelling over him. He'd ask him a question, and then Phil would try to respond. Crowder would yell over him and then change the topic. Okay. That's a really interesting debate tactic. It's not really a debate tactic. It's more of a filibuster. You have someone on your show and you don't let them speak. But he was saying in there also that white people get shot more than black people. And it's meant to minimize the Black Lives Matter movement. Say that it's not a real problem. You guys are over-exaggerating. It's not a real big deal. White people get shot by the cops more than black people do. And police officers are always right. You know, they're good people. They're just trying to protect their families. And they're taking care of criminals. And you know what? If somebody gets shot, they must have gotten shot for a reason. Right? Right. So white people get shot more by the police than black people. Let's continue with that line of thinking. I'm not even going to get into. I know you smart people out there already know the argument against it. I'm not going there right now. I'm just going to follow the logic. White people get shot more than black people. Okay, why? Because we know cops are good. Well, I have a couple theories here. Let me take a look at my show notes. You sure you had them ready already, Chris? Well, you should go suck them. Now, we all know that drugs are a big problem in America. Lots of people addicted to all sorts of drugs. And you can rank different drugs however you want them. Bath salt's pretty bad. Whatever makes you chew someone's face off, not in favor of it. Injecting things. Goo. Can't do it. Could never do it. Could never be a junkie like that. You know, popping pills, that's a whole different story. But this is from Vice News. And it talks about the heroin epidemic, which is pretty much a white problem at this point. Taking some time here to load. And the article is called Heroin Kills White People More Than Anyone Else, and Nobody is Sure Why. Because they can't hold their shit. Okay, let's get on with the loading of the page here. They're like, no, you're trying to talk about how bad white people. No, I'm talking about how we're number one. Woo! All right. The reality of America's heroin epidemic hit Dr. Jeremy Engel one summer's day in August 2012. Engel, a family practitioner in northern Kentucky, recalled how 5 of his 18 patients told him they had a child or grandchild using heroin or had overdosed. Another woman came into his practice after hours and said her daughter needed heroin addiction treatment. Then his colleague in the emergency department casually mentioned that they had also admitted a patient for kidney dialysis who was overdosing on heroin. Similar scenes have unfolded at doctors' offices across America, according to data compiled by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. From 60 million death certificates, the rate of fatal heroin overdoses almost tripled between 2010 and 2013. Thanks, Obama. The deaths were not concentrated in any region, and the users were both rich and poor. But the vast majority of them had one thing in common. They were white. Where are their parents? They probably overdosed. A bunch of junkies. A recent analysis of the CDC data by the New York Times found that the rising death rates of white adults between the ages of 25 and 34 made them the first generation since the Vietnam War years of the mid-60s to experience higher death rates in early adulthood than the generation that preceded it. Man, you are like, if they don't kill you, if some other white dude doesn't kill you, if some mass shooter doesn't pop in somewhere, the drugs will get you, all right? And you know who's selling those drugs? White dudes. Lots of white guys. But while I guarantee there are more people locked up in federal prison for dealing drugs who are white. I haven't even looked into it, but I guarantee it. The first generation since the Vietnam War years of the mid-1960s to experience, but while the mortality rates for whites has been steadily rising, the death rates of blacks and Hispanics has continued to fall. Whatever. Nobody can seem to agree why this is happening. It has hit every white socioeconomic class, said Dr. Andrew Kolodny, Chief Medical Officer at Phoenix House, a nonprofit institution that treats substance abuse in 10 states. The key driver is exposure to opioids. The Chinese have finally finished their master plan. Kill off white people by making us chase the dragon. Okay. It's a white genocide, people. It's happening. You can check the video down in the little link description, whatever thing. Look down in my description, okay? And touch my link. And then go to this other video, because I'm not going to show it here. It's not advertiser friendly.
A small town in Ohio releasing a stunning and very sobering photograph to drive home the danger of heroin. And here it is. Take a look. It shows a man and a woman passed out in the front seats of a car. And there in the back is a child. The photograph was taken at a traffic stop, according to the authorities, and it was posted on Facebook with a graphic warning. So let's bring in CNN's Polo Sandoval to, and pictures sometimes do tell a remarkable story.
Stop it. This 760, 10p, 90x, whatever type of definition they got going on here is crazy. Then you try to pause the video, it takes 10 minutes. Okay, here we go. So, 2 parents passed out in a car in Ohio. They're not passed out, they're overdosing. Cops stopped them. I remember when Philando Castile got shot, then everyone put out this video of the lady who was with him, I forget her name, and showed her smoking what appeared to be a marijuana cigarette. It was a blunt. Who knows what was in the blunt? Anyway, she was smoking a blunt in a car, in the passenger seat of the car, and the kid was in the back seat. Everyone's like, well, then Philando Castile deserved to get shot. Okay, these 2 people are driving and overdosing on heroin, and the kid is in the back seat. By the way, they're white.
A remarkable one, a disturbing one, Martin, and that seems to be the case here. And it also seems to be the story of a police officer who was possibly in the right place at the right time.
Thank God,
take East Liverpool, Ohio. That is when an off-duty police officer noticed an SUV being driven erratically. Apparently, it was crossing the center median. All the telltale signs of a possibly impaired driver. Well, the driver eventually screeches to a halt. The officer then approaches the vehicle, looks inside that SUV, And then it's met with that scene that we just showed you a few moments ago. Again, it's a very disturbing sight, but investigators saying that the police officer actually made contact with James Accord. If we can show you those pictures again. His head was apparently bobbing back and forth. He was still conscious at the time. He had pinpoint pupils. And
when you notice, when you go look at the picture of this, make sure you click the link in the description. You see like a hand reaching in to like grab the lady's hair through the window. It's just an odd looking thing. I don't know why, if they were like making pictures like bunny ears or something. Who knows? Okay.
Just wasn't making sense except for the fact that he claimed that he was taking his passenger, that woman that you see there, Rhonda Posick, to the hospital. Well, Cord then reportedly tried shifting that SUV back into gear to continue with his drive, and that's when he
was shot by police like Sam Dubose
and passed out. Well, paramedics eventually arrived. They administered Narcan, which we know causes some of the victims of overdoses to essentially regain consciousness, and that's exactly what happened to both of these two individuals. They quickly regained consciousness and were placed into handcuffs. But Martin, as you see that picture there, the most disturbing, heartbreaking part of the image is a 4-year-old little boy. We are told that that is Posick's 4-year-old son, who was in the back.
Well, then he deserved to get shot. He had a kid in the back seat. He was high on heroin. He was driving someone else who was overdosing on heroin while he was himself overdosing on heroin. Cops pulled him over. He put the car in drive. They didn't shoot him. That's like everything that you can do wrong if you're a black guy. You would have been shot 19 times by, I don't know, 3 different officers maybe. No, probably 1 different officer 19 times. Here we go. 1 different officer. Moving on. You would have been dead for certain, and no one would have mourned your loss at all. Whoa, we took them in safe, and now they're getting treatment, and then they'll be sent to a rehabilitation center, and they'll get out, and they'll do it all again. White people, dude, we need to clear the streets of opioid-addicted, bad parenting white people.
Conscious this whole time. He is now in the care of Child Protective Services. We do know that Accord was actually
great. Now I got to pay for some other white dude.
No contest.
I got to raise some other white dude's kid. I'm paying for that shit with my taxes because this dude can't handle his business. Fucking white people.
He will serve some jail time. As for Mrs. Posick's charge, her case is still ongoing right now.
It is a heartbreaking picture.
Yeah.
I mean, I get upset watching it now.
Yeah.
What's been the backlash, or has there been any, against the police department? Because they did post it, and I think initially the child's face was seen.
Right.
And they didn't shoot the people.
Why not? That it was actually the city that posted this image.
I'm
the
glad
police
they
department
didn't,
was investigating this case. And going through the social media, going through some of these Facebook posts, Martin, there is definitely mixed reaction. Yes, there are individuals who say there's a good thing that perhaps the city is seeing this as an opportunity to shed more light on what is this massive issue there, this heroin cases that we continue to see, thousands of people dying from overdoses. But then there's also criticism about the city of East Liverpool not blurring the child's face. I want to read you a quick.
It's all about Left Eye and Shifty coming into your state and impregnating white people, and that's how that happens. Duh. White people. We know that they use drugs at the same rate as everyone else, right? We're not worried about proportions right now. Forgot about that. Well, we'll just say they use drugs at about the same rate as everyone else, just for this little second here, okay? But we've shown that they use opioids at a much higher rate, exclusively a white problem. See that right there in Ohio? Look up the stats yourself. White people abuse opioids. They like heroin, okay? Why is that? I think it's because they're genetically predisposed to being addicted to substances that make them more likely to get killed by police officers. That's my guess. Okay, here's the other one. So with all of these criminal white people using drugs at higher rates and putting the lives of their children in danger, recklessly driving down the roads and threatening the lives of our police officers by not complying with their orders, what else do? After that, they get sent to federal fucking prison. I want to show you some statistics here real quick, okay? This is pretty easy to look at and figure out. You know how pie charts work? All right. More white people get shot by cops than black people. More white people use drugs than black people. There are more white people in prison. Wait for it. Dun, 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 dun. Come on, yo. You know you want to load. Oh, why isn't it? Okay. Look at that. White people, black people. White people, black people. White people go to federal prison like this, and black people go to federal prison like that. Stop sharing. According to the Bureau of Prisons, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, FBOP, number of inmates in what? This can't be right. Maybe currently in federal prisons right now. 113,733 white people, 58.8% of the population. Native American, 2%, 3,912. Black people, 72,845, or as Rick Santorum calls them. I was going to say blah people, but then I want to say, but I wasn't going to say it, you know? It's funny. Anyway, moving on. Rick Santorum's racist. You get the joke. Okay. Rick Santorum is a total dickhole. I said dickhole. Dickhole. It's a French word. I didn't call him a dickhole. Hi, one viewer. How are you doing? So federal prison. We got white people using drugs more often, getting shot more often, going to jail, prison, federal prison more often. Wow. And then you look at the white on white violence in the white community, and it's staggering. According to the Uniform, what is it called? Uniform Crime Report or something like that, UCR. UCR.FBI.gov. This is the FBI, yo. White people. Where are we at here? There we go. Look at these stats, yo. Wow. White people, way up there, way up there. Wow, look at all those white people way at the top. Wow. White people are the worst people in the world. Their mothers are shit. They have no fathers because they're all locked up in jail. And the ones that are still on the street are hooked on smack. Just like that. I think that's how it goes. Something like that. I have huge veins, by the way. I don't know if they can't really show. Whoop. Anyway, you should see where else I have huge veins. Ladies. So white people, man, they commit all sorts of crimes. And they do it. I mean, the numbers are just ridiculous. All white people are bad. I don't want to say all white people are bad, but we do have a problem in the white community that needs to be addressed. Here's an article from Huffington Post. What does this say? Basically the same thing. Yeah, white on white crime, an unspoken tragedy. All lives matter, people. If you've been paying any attention to the news lately, you should have seen this talk show clip where an award-winning crime author brazenly declares that white-on-white crime does not exist. That's shocking to me. There's just crime, and then there's black-on-black crime. Kind of like all lives matter. Not black lives, though. We're saying black lives matter? Yeah, all lives matter. Yeah, it's just crime. It's just crime, except when it's black on black crime. Then we got to single it out. The ugly truth is that white on white crime does exist. It is a growing pandemic in the white community, and if we don't call attention to this problem soon, there will be no more white people left to run the world. Well, if you look at Chinese global warming bullshit, they're trying to kill us by manipulating the weather. They also are making us chase the dragon, getting us hooked on smack. They're locking us up in prison. They're shooting us. The cops are shooting us. And now we're shooting each other. You know, I want to be the first to speak out in my community about this. I'm going to go to the south side of Minnetonka. I'm going to go to Prince's house. I'm going to stand out front and say, this has to stop. Most of the conversation, continuing with the article, most of the conversation surrounding crime involves black people who selfishly take all of the credit for being criminals. Blacks are notorious for being called thugs and gangsters, but the real MVPs, most violent people, are whites. Every day in cities across the country, people die at the hands of white people. What's more, they're killing their own kind. According to the U.S. Department of Justice statistics, 84% of white people killed every year are killed by other whites. You know, you got to stop running around with those kids over there, okay, with your little bicycle gang, okay? Setting off firecrackers and keying cars and throwing eggs at houses, all right? Shit's not cool. If you don't stop messing around with them, there's an 84% chance someone else in the white community is going to kill you. 8 out of 10, almost 85%. Almost 90%, you know, if you just round up kind of to something. You're going to get killed by another white person. It's true. So we need to set this white community straight. We need to tell them, hey, man, this violence has to stop. You're killing your own people. Why should anyone else care about your life if you don't care about your life? If you don't care about your community, why should anyone else care about your community? In 2011, there were more cases of whites killing whites than there were of blacks killing blacks. What? Guys, you've seen how black people are, you know what I'm saying? But white people, we've killed more people. I mean, no wonder we get shot by cops more often than black people, because we kill each other more often. We're hooked on smack. We kill each other more often. We're violent thugs. You know, some people are going to call me, you know, an Uncle Tom or whatever I am over here, a self-hating white guy. I hear that a lot, really. Self-hating white guy. Well, can you blame me? Look at the statistics. In America, whites commit the majority of crimes, and what's even more troubling is they also are responsible for the vast majority of violent crimes. Yes. In 2013, whites led all other groups in aggravated assault, larceny, theft, arson, carrying crimes, or weapons carrying, and vandalism. I'm totally fine. I had a concussion a couple of years ago, and it's causing this coughing fit. In 2013, whites led all other groups in blah, 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 blah. When it comes to sexual assault, you know, they're coming here from other countries in Europe, raping our women. They're more likely whites take the forcible rape cake. Forcible rape cake? That sounds disgusting. Try ordering that at Dairy Queen. Yeah, I'd like the ice cream forcible rape cake, please. That's against my religious freedom. I'm not going to make it. Here's $200. Fuck my religion. Okay. When it comes sexual assault, they rape everybody. They are also more likely to kill children, the elderly, family members, their significant others, and even themselves. Oh, it's true. It's true. We'll get to that in just one moment. So you get the picture here. Bunch of fucking criminals. You know what else they like to do? Not only do they just kill each other when they're fighting about drugs or who the baby daddy is, you know, they also go into movie theaters and they start shooting the place up all the fucking time. The man who opened fire at the Charleston church on June 17th, killing 9 people, joined a list of many somethings. That's going to take 10 minutes to load here while it forces me to look at it. A list of many people won't forget. Anyway, whatever. Charleston shooter, white. Newtown shooter, white. Aurora shooter, white. Guy who shot Gabby Giffords, white. Then you got those two guys still in what's his nuts, and the other guy at Columbine, white and white. I don't want to say all these guys' names, but let's see. Who else do they got? All right. According to data compiled by Mother Jones, liberal rag. According to data compiled by Mother Jones, which looked at mass shootings in the United States in 1982, should be a pretty definitive list, right? It's not like an opinion thing. Mass shootings since 1982. How many people have been white? How many people have been black? How many people have been whatever? All right. White people, almost exclusively white men, committed some 64% of the shootings. That's scary, dude. They just go nuts and start shooting. Examples are infamous. The guy from Charleston, the guy from Sandy Hook, the other guy from this one movie theater. Yeah, Columbine. They said all the ones. There was an Asian guy. He was pretty, I was going to say pretty good. No, he killed a lot of people at Virginia Tech. And Latinos, they don't do that stuff, man. Isn't that interesting? Whites make up 63% of the population, and they are responsible for 64% of the mass shootings. I don't know what that means because I don't understand proportions, right? I just know more white people get killed by cops. More white people are on drugs. More white people are in federal prison. More white people kill other white people than any other demographic. More white people are mass shooters. And when they go on their mass shooting sprees, as soon as they're done, they shoot themselves in the head. Because white people commit suicide at higher rates than anyone else, even proportionally, even though I don't know what that means. Rate, crude, per 100,000, according to the Suicide Prevention Resource Center. I'll show you the stats. I don't want to try to butcher it. White people kill themselves, and I would kill myself too if I were a white person. Oh, wait. Just want to. I'm so full of self-hate. White people. See, everyone else kind of keeps the same, right? But the Asian Pacific Islanders have picked it up a little bit in recent years, but they brought it back down. They were just going through a rough patch. White people, Asian Americans, American Indians or whatever. It's really high in the Native American community. It's true. They also have really high rates of alcoholism and whatnot, but it's not as high as white people because there's way more white people. Oops, I didn't mean to say that. Moving on. Yeah, all those things are true. And then when we got a whole bunch of heroin addicted, violent criminals, and their dads are killing themselves at staggering rates, either by sticking a needle in their arm or blowing their heads off, then we get all these fatherless homes. And then you know what happens? The welfare queens over here go on WIC, and they get all their food paid for, and then they get to eat steak and shrimp. Then you can't buy soda pop or potato chips or anything else, and that's not acceptable either. Going to page 24 of the WIC participant and WIC participant and program characteristics 2012 final report. It's the best thing I could find out there. Page 24, you fucking welfare queens. White women love free shit. It's true. roll up to the WIC department in their limousines. Actually, I remember ODB did that one time. Old dirty bastard. He's pretty funny. So yeah, there are definitely people who scam the system. Don't get me wrong. But white people, whoa. Wait for it. Think this is a joke? Think I'm playing around here, bro? This ain't no joke. Look at all those non-Hispanic and Latino white people. White women love free shit. By the way, you like my aquarium over there? Pretty sweet, huh? Pedro, my Sasquatch hunting tie-dyed mountain gorilla, he likes it. He was getting lonely. Welfare queens. And it's not just women, infant, and children, people. Food stamps. SNAP. You know, you need help? Buying food? Why should we help you? Figure it out on your own. Go beg on the corner. Go work for some food. Well, you know, I think you get the picture. I'm not going to read this article. You can click on it in the video description. And I just got to the graph and then it disappeared. Okay. So you see how using that argument about how white people get shot more by police officers than black people, you see how that is a dumb argument? You see how using that is disingenuous? Because if you use that line of thinking, then I can come at you with a whole bunch of other things and criticize the white community for the same things you criticize the black community for. Okay? White on white crime, you know why? It's because white people live right next to each other and black people live right next to each other. We have a pretty segregated society. You know why people are addicted to drugs, especially heroin, white people? Because white people get their prescription drugs from a doctor. Typically speaking, you look at Prince or whoever, all sorts of people that have died from this. They go around doctor shopping. People who are more affluent, typically speaking, and there is a wealth gap in the United States, they go doctor shop, go get their thing, and get addicted to the pill form. Then that runs out sometimes, and they get addicted to the. Either way, you can die from either one, right? So it's not the demographic, it's the set of circumstances. And if you're going to say, well, there's more white people in the United States, then you have to acknowledge when you say police shoot white people more often, that's because there's more white people in the United States. It's just that simple. So use proportions, use math. I'm not that good at math, right? Stuff's pretty easy to figure out, though. It's not some advanced physics. You don't need Leonard Susskind over here to figure things out for you. If you don't know who Leonard Susskind is, or Susskind, however you pronounce it, look him up. You don't need that level of scientific reasoning to figure out what's going on in society. So, proportionally speaking, you're more likely to be shot if you are a black person by a police officer. Proportionally speaking, black people make less money, get arrested more for small offenses, get arrested more for drugs when people use them at the same rate across the board, right? They get stopped and harassed more often by police officers. Their schools, typically, a lot of the schools are terrible, garbage. Well, we spend lots of money on students. That's another thing. We say we spend lots of money on students. Yeah, lots of white students get really good schools, and lots of inner city schools don't get that much of the pie. They don't get a lot of things sent their way. So teachers don't want to work in those school districts and all sorts of other things. So when you just say, well, white people get shot more by police, totally disingenuous, totally missing the big picture, and you're either a liar, ignorant, or stupid. Ignorant you can fix, all right? Ignorant means you're ignoring the facts. Stupid. I don't know if I can help you on that. Maybe you drank some lead water or something. Another thing, if you look at disproportionately, who's drinking the bad water? Use your math, use your reasoning, use your logic. I know Republicans don't like that. If you're not a Republican, if you're not a conservative douchebag, if you actually care about facts, look at proportions. Look at who's getting affected where. And don't just say in broad, general terms, well, there's more white people who get affected by X, Y, and Z. Yeah, well, then it's every other thing that you're condemning other demographics for. Have I made that point yet? I think so. All right. My name's Chris Lopaco. That's it for the show. It went on longer than I thought it would. I thought it'd be done pretty quick. Follow me on Twitter at @TheChrisLopaco. Yes, @TheChrisLopaco. Subscribe to me here right now. Almost at 1,000 subscribers, yo. You know what happens? First 1,000 subscribers, free bottle service. Did I say go to my Patreon? Patreon.com/Chris Lopaco Experiment. $1 a month. I'll think about you before I go to bed. $5 a month. I'll sign something and send it to you. Some random object. I got a dog collar over here. Don't know how I'd sign that, but put some tape on it or something. Jackson doesn't like it. $20 a month. I'll do something. Send you a picture of my junk. Anthony Weiner style. I'll tweet it. Peace up. A-Town down. Thanks for watching. Ya basta. Bye-bye.